Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description just below. It's your purchase and pricing email concierge for asking questions about this or any Watchbox watch. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a watch launched in 2019 based on the 2017 Tudor Black Bay Chrono. This is the Tudor Black Bay Chrono Dark, reference 79360DK, a limited run tribute to the New Zealand national rugby team nicknamed the All Blacks. The watch was initially launched during the Rugby World Cup in 1,181 pieces, representing at the time the total number of players who had ever played for the national rugby team. Now, over time, as more players are added to the roster, more examples of this watch will be made. As a result, production is limited, though not expressly numbered. So this is a watch that's stainless steel and DLC coated. It's 41 millimeters in diameter. It's 14.5 millimeters thick, and it's 50.1 millimeters lug tip to lug tip with a broad contemporary 22 millimeters between the lugs. This is definitely the most contemporary looking version of the Tudor Black Bay Chrono. You can see on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it wears well. Down the barrel, the lugs don't quite overlap the edge of my wrist. You can see it's a full figure, but not huge on my wrist. It's fairly thick, but you should be okay with any kind of a jacket sleeve, so no problems there. And I can recommend it for a wrist as small as about 15 centimeters in circumference. It has a nice substantial heft to it. Tudor bracelets, like Rolex bracelets, have come a long way. Even though they're no longer interchangeable, they are nevertheless built to high standards on both sides of the house. The bracelet, as you can see, is tapered nicely. It has asymmetrical link alignment and link sizing. Resembles the Oyster bracelet, but it is not an Oyster bracelet, though like an Oyster bracelet, it is assembled using screw-fixed removable links. We have a single folding deployant clasp with a locking clamshell, and you can see the Tudor shield is visible. It's outlined by the lock. You can also appreciate that it uses specially produced ceramic pin snaps in black. The balls themselves are black, so that they blend nicely with the blackened material, and those ceramic pin snaps prevent the clasp tolerances from ever wearing down or becoming loose over time. And this really is impressive because the ceramic pin snaps on a Black Bay are going to be, they're going to be like a milky gray. Here they're black to match. The attention to detail is superb. There are 3 little divots in the clasp, so you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside of the clasp, fine-tuning the size. Case bands are familiar, sheer-sided. We have longitudinal satin finish, and then we also have a sort of beveling on the side. This is machine-laid, but it's designed to evoke the handmade bevels from the historical period that ended in the 80s, when Tudor and Rolex used common case construction from the same factory, and both would have had beveled lugs. You can see that the lugs are actually quite thin when viewed end-on. It's a relatively sheer and thick case in profile, and you can see it's all of satin finish. You can see there is, oddly, a split between the post-1968 Tudor Shield logo on the dial and the pre-1968 Tudor Rose logo on the crown. Screw-down crown, screw-down chronograph pushers, all of this 200 meters water-resistant. The bezel is anodized black aluminum. All of this is pre-owned and DLC, so you can see it's held up pretty well. The coating is robust and scratch-resistant. It wears nicely in daily use. It is quite resilient. We have a tachymeter scale, so you can use the chronograph to gauge the speed of an object in conjunction with the chronograph itself. We have a white-silver chapter ring that's printed onto the dial, a matte black dial base to resist glare, sunken sub-registers, snowflake-style hour and minute hand. And of course, that's a nod to the Tudor Submariners of the late 60s through mid-70s, so a couple of different styling references here. Twin register dial, giving it a good vintage look. Applique indices upscale, not printed indices, so this is looking a little bit more expensive than normally you would anticipate for a watch in this price point. Doesn't have a printed, it has an applique index dial. What you'll also note is that one of the changes made to this watch compared to the standard Breitling B01 powered chronographs is that the Tudor version of the B01 caliber, the MT5813, uses a 45-minute chronograph register rather than Breitling's 30. Now, we have subsidiary functions. We also have a hacking or stop seconds, ability to stop the movement and set it precisely to a reference time. Then we also have a quick set date that we can rapidly cycle, and it replaces the index at 6, keeping the dial nicely balanced. 200 meters water resistant. Once again, flip it all over. You can't quite see the movement, but you can see that these, because of the team inspiration and the limited run based on the number of historical team players, we do have individual numbering in that sequence of players. So this is a special edition, not expressly a limited edition by number, but it will be limited in production. You'll also appreciate it's a solid case back, but what you get is a Breitling B01 modified by Tudor, and Tudor does make some changes. First, Tudor uses a 45-minute chronograph register compared to Breitling's 30. Tudor uses a free-sprung balance rather than Breitling's mobile index and Edicron regulation system. Tudor also uses its own free-sprung balance and regulator combination with their own anti-magnetic silicon hairspring. Breitling still uses a metal hairspring. The silicon is used here. It's a 41-joule automatic winder with bidirectional winding action and a 70-hour power reserve. It uses a column wheel for crisp actuation and, like the Rolex Daytona, a vertical clutch, so it starts smoothly without any seconds-hand jump, and you can leave it running on a full-time basis with no additional wear or tear to the movement because of the vertical clutch. Adjusted in 5 positions, it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, and it uses a unique media blasted or sand blasted finish on the bridges, so it actually has a different look than the Breitling version. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.